Welcome to the Virtual Flight Academy. My name is Micah Messer. I am a real-world pilot, but not a real-world instructor. With that being said, do not use any of the techniques, skills, or other aspects of what I'm going to teach you in real-world flying. Now, let's jump into lesson number 3. Welcome aboard. Today we'll be in the Cessna 152, provided by Microsoft. Our objectives today are the traffic pattern and landing the Cessna 152. Before we get rolling, there's a few concepts you need to understand about the traffic pattern. 1. The traffic pattern is a rectangular course, either consisting of left or right turns. 2. The traffic pattern is almost always 1,000 feet above the field. 3. The traffic pattern is essential for VFR flights. 4. There are 5 parts of the traffic pattern, covered in more detail in the Virtual Ground School Academy, to be available soon to Patreons. 1. Upwind. 2. Crosswind. 3. Downwind. 4. Base. And 5. Final. And of course, a good pattern usually leads to a good landing. Last note here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is a little weird when it comes to aerodynamics and ground friction. And even I have not quite gotten the hang of it, so if you may see some less than perfect maneuvers and controlling. So if you have some issues, don't worry. Even me, the real-world pilot, has some problems with it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get rolling. Alright, so let's use what we learned last time with our takeoffs here. We'll do another regular takeoff. So we'll get onto the runway here. Again, not making radio calls yet. That's going to be covered in a later lesson. Right now we're just focusing on the very specifics of actually flying the aircraft. So we're going to roll into the runway, center ourselves up with the center line, and then we'll add full throttle. No flaps today as we are on a regular takeoff. That'll be later covered with short and soft field takeoffs. Alright, so we're lined up. We'll go ahead and start applying full power. Nice and slow. Engine is in the green. All the oil pressure and temperature is good. Keep myself center on the center line here. Airspeed is alive for 40 knots. There's 50, 55. Start pulling back. And we're up in the air. And hold about a 5-degree on your attitude. Now picture that on your outside of your view here. You are VFR, so you should be looking outside. So we're looking outside, seeing how we're flying here. Looks pretty good. So we're going to continue climbing up to about 700 feet, and then we're going to make a left turn. Right now, we are on our upwind leg of our traffic pattern. Next, we'll be turning onto our crosswind leg. So at about 700 feet, we'll turn left onto our crosswind. Almost there. Almost there. So we'll start turning left now. And we're looking for about a 20-degree bank. Continuing climbing, looking for 1,000 feet. Now we're making a 90-degree turn from the runway, which we took off 230. It's going to be about right here. And there's 1,000 feet. Nose down, throttle back. Now we are on our crosswind leg of our traffic pattern. Now if we look, we'll see where the runway is. And here's about a good time to go ahead and start making your another turn. Now we're turning onto our downwind leg. It's important to note during these turns not to lose or gain altitude as well as airspeed. And now we're on our downwind leg. Our downwind leg is, of course, the parallel to the runway, and you want to find a spot on your strut here that you always put the runway. And we'll keep flying this particular pattern, this altitude, add a little bit more power in. until we get to our touchdown or threshold. Now we've gotten to our threshold, what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring the power back to about 1800 RPMs. And we're going to start descending. At about 500 feet per minute, go and add your first notch of flaps in. Of course, make sure you're in the flap arch. And you're looking for about 80 knots on your descent here, this portion of the leg. Now we're looking off our left wing here, and we're looking for when that runway gets to about right here at this windowsill. It's about 45 degrees off of our left shoulder. So about right now. So we'll go ahead and start making our what we call the base leg. So we're turning left onto base now. Again, look for about a 20-degree bank or so. And you want to continue making that descent. All right, there we go. We're about on our base leg here. We can see the runway. We'll be turning final here shortly. We're going to go ahead and pop in our second notch of flaps and slow down here to about 70 knots. And we're going to wait till the runway gets almost right here off of our wingtip before we turn final. Right about here. Turn left, about 20 degrees. Continue our descent. And we're looking on our final speed, we're looking for about 60, 65 knots. So overshot that a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to slow down here. Add in my third notch of flaps. Again, looking for about 60 knots on our final approach speed. And if you do overshoot like I just did, don't fret, just gently put yourself back on. Know that whenever you're in what they call slow flight, which is when you're flying slowly with slow airspeed, that you have a high degree or high possibility of stalling and creating a spin. So it's very important that you make very small corrections when you're going so slow. So what I'm doing is I'm aiming for these numbers. I'm looking at these numbers. I'm flying to these numbers. I'm going to keep flying to them, keep flying to them, keep flying to them. Then right here, I'm going to start rounding out and I'm going to pull my throttle. And what I'm going to do is just look down the runway, pull up slowly, and just let it come and kiss the ground. Just like that. That is it, guys. It is that simple to land a Cessna 152. And that's going to conclude this lesson. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you do like this, of course, hit the like button down below. Leave a comment if you have any questions or concerns. And of course, you can join me over on Discord. And don't forget, you can support me and join the Flight Club at patreon.com/mmflightclub. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time up in the sky.